Hi, I'm Farine. I work in supply chain, and like many of you, I live in the data every day, managing quality issues, tracking delivery performance, and wrestling with forecasts and returns. We hear a lot about AI and machine learning, but they are often explained in very technical ways. The purpose of this video is to explain machine learning from a supply chain perspective without jargon or coding, so we can use AI more confidently as a tool, inform discussion with your stakeholders. This isn't about blindly trusting the technology. It's about understanding it so you are never intimidated by it. Before we go further, let's clarify how AI and machine learning fits together because they are often used interchangeably. Think of AI as the outcome. It is a system that helps us make better decisions or recommendations. Machine learning is how it gets there. Machine learning learns patterns from historical data instead of following fixed, predefined if-then rules written by humans. A simple way to remember is AI is what the system does, machine learning is how it learns to do it. In this slide, when I say AI, I am referring to the business impact. Machine learning is the engine underneath that enables these AI outcomes. Our reality today is already data-driven. Every day we work with planning data, supplier performance, procurement metrics, logistic updates, and customer issues. Decisions are increasingly made based on data, not gut feel alone. At the same time, there is a lot of vendor hype around AI. Many solutions are branded as AI powered, but not all of them deliver real value. Without a basic understanding of how machine learning works, it's difficult to separate signal from noise. These are also high-stake decisions. AI adoptions directly impact costs, on time in full, risk exposure, and even sustainability. When something goes wrong, operations feel it immediately. Ultimately, understanding AI is about empowerment. It helps supply chain professionals participate more confidently in UAT, ask better questions, and have more balanced discussions with vendors. This isn't about becoming technical experts. It's about being informed decision makers. Learning. Machine learning learns patterns from historical data and use those patterns to make educated guesses about new situations. It doesn't think and doesn't understand business context. It simply looks at past behavior and asks, what usually happens in situations like this? In supply chain, this shows up in very familiar areas. For example, in demand forecasting, machine learning looks at past sales by SKU, location, and time. It learns seasonal patterns, promotion effects, and trends, then predicts what future might look like. In supply estimation, the model leverages historical performance data to identify trends. While it may not identify the root cause of a delay, it excels at detecting patterns in lead time variability. This allows for proactive risk flagging and more precise data-driven safety stock adjustments. In logistic visibility, machine learning analyzes historical shipment data to predict precise ETAs and flag abnormal route behavior, often identifying potential disruptions before they surface. The key thing to remember is machine learning is very good at recognizing patterns at scale, but still relies on humans to interpret the output and decide what action to take. Before we dive deeper, we need to address the AI hype versus the AI reality. First, machine learning is not a magic box designed to replace our planners. It is a decision support tool. Think of it as a force multiplier. It processes data at a scale humans can't, but the strategic judgment and the final accountability still sit with us. Second, this isn't just fancy Excel. Traditional tools rely on static if-then logic, which breaks the moment the world changes. Machine learning is pattern recognition. It actually learns from history and adapts its logic as new trends emerge. Thirdly, let's kill the myth of 100% accuracy. Machine learning doesn't give us a crystal ball. It gives us a weather map. It works in probabilities, predicting a higher risk of delay rather than promising a perfect arrival time. This allows us to manage risk rather than chasing impossible certainty. And finally, this isn't just for big tech anymore. You don't need billion-dollar R&D budget. These capabilities are now accessible and scalable, embedded directly into the platforms we are already using. The bottom line is, machine learning automates the next, so we can focus on the management. It supports better decisions, it does not remove the need for human intuition. One of the biggest misconceptions in AI is that the algorithm is the most important part. In reality, data quality matters far more than model complexity. Think of it this way: machine learning learns from history. If our historical data is messy, biased, or incomplete, our predictions will be unreliable, no matter how advanced the model is. You cannot fix bad data with better algorithms. Another major hurdle is contextual blind spots. If the system doesn't know about an unrecorded promotion, a manual override, or a stockout, it cannot see the full picture. Without that context, the model will likely draw the wrong conclusions about future demand. Standardization is equally critical. Inconsistent units or definitions across our systems act like silent killers. They don't always crash the model, but they create deeply misleading outputs that lead to poor decisions. Finally, we have to move past the idea that data is just an IT responsibility. Data quality is a business function. As supply chain professionals, we are the ones who must define, validate, and maintain the integrity of the data we rely on every day. The takeaway is simple. Better data leads to better AI, and that starts with us. Up to now, we have been talking about machine learning, the engine. In this slide, I am switching to AI, which is the business outcome enabled by that engine. So how does AI actually transform our day-to-day operations? Across core functions, from demand planning and procurement to inventory and logistics, AI helps us move from looking backward to looking ahead. Instead of reacting what already happened, we are alerted to what is likely to happen, whether that is a demand shift, supplier risk, or potential delivery delay. This changes how we work. AI takes on the heavy lifting, processing massive volumes of data and probabilities, so we can focus on scenario analysis, strategic trade-offs, and execution. In other words, AI supports better decisions, but this doesn't replace the decision maker. A simple way to remember this partnership is AI handles the probability, humans handle the ambiguity. When used well, AI reduces constant firefighting and free us up for strategic, value-adding work that truly moves the business forward. I will end with this message. AI won't replace supply chain professionals, but professionals who know how to use AI will outperform those who don't. The key is to start small. Prove value with one meaningful use case before trying to transform everything. Keep humans in the loop. Your domain expertise is what filters AI suggestions and turns them into real decisions. And finally, practice data stewardship. Treat data as a product, because clean, well-owned data is what drives powerful outcomes. When these three come together, AI becomes a tool that strengthens our work and not a threat to it. Thank you for your time and for staying with me today. We have covered quite a bit, and I'm sure more questions will come up as you start thinking about how these ideas apply to your own supply chain challenges. If you have questions or reflections, please drop them in the YouTube comments below. I will be checking in and continue the conversation there. For more specific discussions, feel free to reach out to me by email. I've also shared my LinkedIn link and QR code on the screen. Do connect. I'm always happy to exchange ideas with fellow supply chain professionals. I look forward to stay connected and hearing about your journey as you explore AI in your work. All the best.